Okay, yes, I bought Love Theoretically, like the rest of the universe. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to a little book haul video. Hi! You have to be in every video, don't you? You have to, huh? Should we talk about the book that has you on the cover? Huh? No? Okay. Alright. Hey guys, I've amassed a little bit of a book collection, book haul, since the last time I've checked in. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of these were just complete impulse purchases in the last 3 hours. Which is why, which is why I did not vlog myself doing anything. I'm still a little unsure about what the rules are, and I'm a little self-conscious of recording myself in public. So also, let's be real, you're just more interested in what these books are. So let's jump right in. Alright, so let's start with some of the books that I've had sitting on my shelf for a little while before we talk about some of the very new books that I just grabbed because I was in a kind of book buying, spending mood. So, starting from the top, the first book is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This is a cozy fantasy romance about a world where witches exist and they have to stay secret and apart from each other. But our main character is a version of a YouTuber who pretends to be a witch, and she essentially gets caught or found out by this caretaker of 3 young witches who invites her to come teach them how to be witches. So it's supposed to be a very cozy romance, cozy fantasy. I'm really looking forward to it, but I think I'm keeping it for fall when the spooky Halloween vibes are a little bit stronger. I have some better books that I think will fit in for the summer. The next one is Gideon the Ninth. Gideon the Ninth is a YA fantasy about sort of sci-fi. I read the first chapter because I was super intrigued, and the story seems to be centered around these 2 kind of young women who have very different paths in life, who have different powers. They both are part of the 9th house or 9th planet. It's a little unclear to me which it is. And the 9th house presides over the dead. So this is it's necromancer, sci-fi, fantasy, and it's supposed to be really good. The first chapter really hooked me. I was ready to sit down and read the rest of this. So I'm pretty excited. This one's probably going to be on the summer TBR at some point. The next one is A Marvelous Light. This is also a fantasy. It's blurbed by TJ Klune, who says that the prose is sublime, the world building is top-notch, and the magic system is fascinating and unique, but what made me the happiest is how delightfully queer this story is. Robin and Edward have my whole heart. Which, that is such a vibe. I love this. This is supposed to be more centered around a mystery fantasy world where there is a magical, and the magical government and the mundane government work together, and so they have liaisons, and these are Edward and Robin are the 2 liaisons kind of assigned to work together to figure out how to keep law and order between the 2 worlds, essentially. At least that's what I gather from the synopsis. I could be totally mistaken on what their perspective roles is, but Um, Given that it's a queer romance, I think I'm going to move this up. It's the end of June right now, and I think this is probably going to make it onto like my end of June, 4th of July reading list. It's end of Pride, and I'm just who doesn't love like a little bit of a like fantasy murder mystery with a queer element? I mean, come on. The next is Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. This is supposed to be very reminiscent of SNL and kind of a behind the scenes fiction. And this is actually, I'm borrowing this from one of my bosses who absolutely loved it and could not stop raving about it. So Katie, thank you for lending this to me. I promise I'll get it back soon. I know you gave it to me a couple weeks ago, and I need to sit down and crack this open. So I think this is also going to come with me over the 4th when I'll have a couple of days off and can actually blast through it, because it's supposed to be a pretty easy read, and I think it's gotten really, really great reviews. I think I'm fully in my contemporary romance era. Like, I think I can blame Emily Henry and Allie Hazelwood for like bringing me into that era, but now that I'm here, it's like, give me all of the contemporary romance. So like, yes, So I also picked up Legends and Lattes. This was a while ago. I picked this up in spring, and I'm a little ways in, you can see. So I'm kind of cheating a smidge, but this is kind of my like right before bed. You need something cozy and like just low, like incredibly low stakes. And I reach for this because like this is the quintessential, cozy fantasy. I'm really loving it so far. I think I can see where some of the criticisms that it's kind of slow and boring and like, yes, it's a cozy fantasy, but like, give us something. I get those criticisms, but I really love, I enjoy the way that I'm reading it right now, which is really just like a chapter or a couple pages at a time when I feel like I need to wind down. And I think that is really, like, if you did not like this book, or if you're saying, hey, I'm not sure if that I'm gonna love the like just vibes, no story situation, maybe give that reading experience a try when you're not trying to just get through a book. You're using it as sort of some like self-help, mental health relaxation, Next up, as you can see, I have the little note still on here. I talked about this in my June TBR. This is Fourth Wing. It was gifted to me by my friend and coworker, Margot. No, we do not work in a bookstore. I do not work in a bookstore. Margot does, but I do not, and neither does my boss, Katie. We just have an office full of readers, apparently, who like to lend and give each other books when we feel like it. And Margot was like, she's just so sweet. She has given me so many dragon books because she knows that I'm obsessed with dragons, and I have yet to crack the cover on this one. I've read the blurb, I have seen a bunch of reviews, I have stayed away from spoilers as best I can, and I think that this is going to be the next book that I read because I can't put it off any longer. And I really want to. Like, this was on my June TBR. It's June 23rd as we speak, and it's time. It's time I got here. So I'm going to read this. I will. This is the book that started my contemporary romance phase. I bought it. I've read it. I'm about to do like a review blog of it, so I'm including it in this book haul because I did buy it along with pretty much all of the rest of these books that I'm talking about at the end of May. And I am obsessed with Adam and Olive and their relationship and how it developed and how cute they were. I love the fact that they both were so clearly pining for each other but we're so scared to take that first step. And like, if that isn't, it resonated with me because I feel like that was very realistic for me. It felt very realistic, and I loved it. So good. The first Emily Henry book that I read was Book Lovers. I do not have a physical copy right now because I am forcing my mom to read it because I think she would love it. And it is also, I actually read Book Lovers before I read The Love Hypothesis, and Book Lovers convinced me that I liked contemporary romance, or that I should give it a try. And then I read The Love Hypothesis, and that just solidified that for me. So I'm obsessed with Book Lovers. If anyone has a negative comment to say about it, keep it to yourself. I do not want to hear it, because I went out and bought like literally every other book that Ali Hazelwood and Emily Henry has written, including Beach Read, which I've had this on my coffee table for probably a month now because I think it looks cute and it's just summer vibes. But also, like, it's been taunting me for a month now because it's just been on my coffee table. And I'm going to read it over my 4th of July break because obviously I will be out in the sun. I will be at a beach for at least part of my break. And this needs to happen. So, but last but not least, on the like spring, mid to late May book haul is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This book is such great YA fantasy vibes, YA fantasy storytelling. It definitely reads older, which I think I need. I'm not a YA fantasy reader anymore. I used to be when I was in the age demographic that genre is really aimed at. But I think I've grown out of it. I'm just a little too old, too adult in my reading tastes now to really appreciate like true YA. I think this really straddles the end of that age group gap. Early adult works in a really great way. It has really solid world building. It has solid, flawed characters. But it has like that YA niceness about everything. It's not too graphic. It's not too dark. It's not too violent, even though it could have been. Like, this very easily could have been a full, thick adult fantasy novel. But I think part of the like fairy tale magic of this story is that it stayed YA, and that the tale is really, about finding yourself and being comfortable with yourself. And I don't know, I just really loved it. Ooh, baby, you scared me. Hi. We doing okay? We doing okay? Okay. Ouch. You wanna come say hi? I say hi. Okay, let's open the package. Here's the package. It's in here. This is not for little babies. It's not for little rosies. I'm sorry. Whew. Okay. Yes, I bought Love Theoretically, like the rest of the universe. Of course. I'm so excited. I'm gonna wait to read this book though, because hold on. I also bought Love on the Brain. And everyone I've been on TikTok like everyone else, right? And the people who have read and finished Love Theoretically. And actually, Ellie Hazelwood herself, I think, hinted at this in like a tweet or an Instagram post or something. But there's apparently cameos for this couple. Sorry, what are their names? B and Levi. I don't know how to say this guy's name. I don't know. Anyway, for this couple and Adam and Olive in here. And I think I want to fully appreciate the cameos. So I'm going to read this first, then I'm going to read this. All will be right with the world. Do this? Let's do it in order of buying. So I went to Target first. I am firmly in my contemporary romance era, and I think this is going to be the summer of love. So I bought People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews that like this wasn't people's favorite romance. So I don't know that this one is going to have the same impact on me that Book Lovers did and that Beach Read has the potential to. But I think it's still going to be a cute story. And honestly, like, if that isn't the vibe of summer break, summertime in general, I don't know what is, you know? The next two are by an author that I have not read from yet. So that is Tessa Bailey, purely because of this little dog on the cover that looks literally just like Rosie. And I mean, I couldn't pass it up. It was, first of all, this sounds like a romance that would be 100% up my alley. It's basically a ambitious businessman who wants to work for a senator as a staffer, and the girl is the senator's daughter, and she's kind of known to be like a wild child, fun-loving, like, you know, just kind of out and about socialite, and they fall in love, obviously, maybe. I assume because of the cover, but it just looks so sweet. And like I said, it has like a dog just like mine on the cover, so I can't say no. The second one is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey, and this one is essentially like a small town romance. Like the girl never left the town and has been in love with this guy since she was a teenager. Her name is Haley, and the guy's name is Julian. He is an Ivy League professor. He's home to do some writing, and, you know, the two clash. It's Grumpy Sunshine, which I think, you know, I'm not sure if it's apparent yet, but I am a Grumpy Sunshine lover, and I've discovered that about myself through these books, and right now, that is just the vibe that I am going with, the trope. I love that trope, apparently. I cannot stop talking about the books that have like a good quality Grumpy Sunshine romance. So, these two. And then I broke my own rule because I bought Red, White, and Royal Blue. Yes, I literally just did a video where I was like, don't buy this. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I know that I am a hypocrite. I do not care. I explicitly said in that video that there are times when I just want a physical book in my hands, and that I can completely understand and get on board with. And this just seems to be one of those books, one of those times. I can't really imagine sitting out on a beach or out on a lake with my Kindle, even though that's partially what I bought it for. It just doesn't feel right to me right now. Like, I just need the printed page in my hands, and this book seemed cute enough in the aesthetic and in the story to justify spending some money on it and supporting the author. Anyway, it's essentially the president's son and a British royal have to pretend that they are friends and that they like each other when something happened and they didn't like each other. I'm sure we'll find out what. But they have to essentially fake a friendship to prevent an international incident. And in the process of doing so, they discover that they may actually have more in common than they, imagined, that they thought. And it is also supposed to be a queer romance. So I will again be bumping this up to the end of June. It's perfect, in my opinion. 4th of July reading. I mean, US, Great Britain, international incidents seems appropriate for the celebration of our independence. So, we'll see. Anyway, I am finally reading Ninth House by Leah Bardugo. All I know is that Hellbent came out earlier this year, which is the second book in the series. I did not buy that because it was not part of the 50% off sale. And I have not read this one. And I'll be honest, I have like a love-hate relationship with Leah Bardugo. I read Shadow and Bone and liked it, but didn't like the ending or the twist. Kind of wanted the villain to be the good guy. Not gonna lie. So I didn't read the rest of the series, and I have not yet read Six of Crows. I did like her writing, which is why I was willing to take a shot on this series, which is set in a different universe, and a different set of rules and, people. So I'm hoping that I maybe like the direction that this one goes in. For more Allie Hazelwood, I bought her, it's like her collected works. It's like her novellas all put together. Hi. So this is a collection of Under One Roof, Stuck With You, and Below Zero, all of which look incredibly cute. And I thought about ordering them separately. And then when I saw this in Barnes & Noble, I could not pass it up it's essentially like 3 novellas collected into one to be like the length of a full-size novel. So this one caught my interest. I will be honest, I have not heard anyone talk about this. I have not read any reviews. It is YA. It was on the YA table. I know what I'm getting myself into, which is that this is either going to be like an okay hit or like a complete miss. It's called The Darkening by Sonia Mara. Essentially, our main character is the daughter of revolutionaries, and her mom got caught years ago, was sent into something called the Storm. So mom went into the Storm. Dad is also a revolutionary and is on the brink of getting caught. And our main character, Vesper, essentially becomes like a revolutionary spy, gets close to the prince in an effort to protect her father, and may end up having to make the same choice that her mom had to make, which I think can be such an interesting plot. So I'm hoping that this has big, good world building and a kind of like spy magic twist, which could be cool. I finally got my hands on Happy Place. I'm a little bummed they did not seem to have the softcover edition because, and I'd want the softcover. Like I'm not an anti-hardcover girl, but like when I think of romance novels, I think of softcover, and so far, literally all of my other contemporary romances are softcover. So I'm a bit bummed, but it is very cute, very pretty. I love Emily Henry's book covers and her marketing. I think it's just the fact that they all kind of keep the same theme and vibe, I think is just very cute. I love it. So, Happy Place, again, it's gonna be part of my summer reading. You know it. This is more my like serious adult reads now. The first is The Wager, which has been talked about a little bit on BookTube lately. I do want to give a shout out to, I'm blanking on her name now. She also has a BookTube, and I will stick it in now because she talked about this book in like April, way before anyone else did. And I don't know how she found it or figured it out, but she talked about it and commented on my very first video. And I said I liked that and I would read it. And now I am true to my word. I will follow up and I will read this book because it is a true story of shipwreck survivors. And from what I understand, there's like a raft that washes up ashore 3 months after the shipwreck, and they are hailed as, you know, heroes and like just given lots of fame and praise and attention because they survived for 3 months at sea. You know, obviously we would probably do the same thing today. And then 3 months after that, so 6 months after their ship actually wrecked and, you know, was lost at sea, 3 more men from that ship wash ashore in a different location. And when they find out that that the first group was getting all these praise and accolades, they're very upset because they say, no, that's not, their story is not true. There was a mutiny and they were the mutineers. And to top it all off, the captain of the ship, the Wager, was a direct descendant from Captain Kidd, the pirate. And I'm like, this sounds like something that would be made up, but it's a true story, which I don't think I've ever been so excited to read a nonfiction book in my life, you know? I could totally see if this pans out and this is as good as I think it's going to be, like in terms of the adventure survival aspect of it. I'm going to give this book to my dad, and he absolutely loves shipwrecks, true stories, stuff like that. The next book is Demon Copperhead. This is a fiction story, but it's written, from what I can tell, in such a way that it's a commentary on poverty and on classism and on regionalism. It's set in the mountains of southern Appalachia, and it says Demon braves the modern perils of foster care, child labor, derelict schools, athletic success, addiction, disastrous love, and crushing losses. Through it all, he reckons with his own invisibility in a popular culture where even the superheroes have abandoned rural people in favor of cities. And I haven't talked much about my job, but I used to work in rural areas with high rates of poverty and all of the things that this book does a fictional commentary on. So this is definitely going to be like a much more serious read, I think it's going to be a much harder read for me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through it, because when books are a little too on point with what I do for a living, it makes it very hard for me to pick the book up at the end of the day, because it's what I do during the business hours, and I try to separate myself from that, which is why I read so many fantasies and contemporary romances with happy endings and all that. But I do think it's important to read these things and stay on top of them and listen to other voices, because that can also be a good way to balance some of the things that we see throughout the day. The next one is the 5th season. It says every age must come to an end, and I think this sounds so good. I mean, it's the winner of the Hugo Award. Is this not the first one? Oh my gosh, I just psyched myself out because I saw that there are 2 other book covers on the back here, and I thought I bought the 3rd one in the trilogies, but I didn't. This is the first one. I'm fairly certain that this is the first one. I'll have to look. I don't understand though, because these 2 say that they are also the winner of a Hugo Award, but on the inside, where they list the other titles by this author, they don't have those 2 books listed. So I'm very confused. Oh, and it does say, I'm an idiot. It says Broken Earth, book 1. Okay. Figured it out. Book 1. Great, the 5th season. Cool. I mean, it's an adult fantasy. It says it starts with the Great Red Rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and a missing daughter. It starts with betrayal. A long dormant wounds start rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon and where there is no mercy. And that was the description for the way that the world ends for the last time. So, this is definitely adult fantasy. I'm hoping adult high fantasy. I'm definitely, like, I get into the mood where I just want to read something that is complex, like The Way of Kings, or even like Dragon Weather, which the vlog was coming out shortly for. This, I think, is going to scratch that itch for me this summer. And finally, this one's a little behind the times for me, but to be fair, it took reading Once Upon a Broken Heart twice for me to convince myself that I liked it. And when I decided I liked it, I fell in love and I was obsessed. And I finally picked up The Ballad of Never After. So I'm gonna look forward to this. I think I'm going to maybe end of summer. It's got like that magical element to it that makes it like a great fall read, I think. So maybe I'll push this to the end of the summer. I mean, I've waited this far, or this long already, right? Like, what's a couple more weeks? So anyway, this is book 2 of The Once Upon a Broken Heart. It is the story that follows Jax, the Prince of Hearts, and Evangeline through their many adventures and possibly a chance at love. This is the follow-up, and I think it's going to focus around the love spell that is on Evangeline's current betrothed. Anyway, this was my book haul. I have to deal with these. I think now that we have all of these going on, I'm going to need a new bookcase. And that is going to have to come soon. But I think I'm going to have to put myself on a book buying ban in order to buy the new bookshelf. So, I will probably, let's be real, I'm probably just going to end up with a Billy bookcase from IKEA like everyone else in the freaking world because it's the only thing that makes sense. But like, I think I finally have enough books and stuff now, like sets, that I can actually organize. I know this, at least this one for sure, but possibly another one with like actual categories and like things. So If that happens shortly, you will see it in this video. If not, you will not. Anyway, thanks for watching the book haul. Hope you enjoyed it. What are your summer reading plans? Let me know down below. If you liked this sort of content or any of my content, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does help and gives me a little boost of confidence to keep doing this. So thank you in advance. Have a good one.